Well, hello.
Hey, how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I am dynamite. Good to be alive.
Well, I'm very excited. We have a great guest today, Neal Phalora, a friend and just someone who's really going to motivate people. But we're missing. You clearly can see, everyone, that we are missing a cog in our wheel. Eric Burns is got jury duty today, but most important, today is his birthday. So happy birthday to
Happy birthday, Bam.
our fearless Megamind leader, Eric Bam. So I hope you're getting a chance to watch this while you're sitting in the jury pool, waiting to be called or not called. So I just figured we'd do a couple shots on goal, and then when Neal shoots in, we'll get right to it. What are your thoughts?
That sounds great to me. Why don't you go first?
Okay, well, I got three of them. So why don't you go first, and then I'll follow up.
Well, just before the broadcast, I was telling you, my shot on goal is I can't believe that we trust the weather to a varmint. As much as I love the movie Groundhog Day, and I actually don't mind groundhogs because I live in town. If I didn't live in town, I'd probably hate them. But, it's just amazing to me that there's been this entire holiday and just fanfare built around, whether or not a little varmint's going to see his shadow or not. And really, is there a difference between 6 more weeks until spring or 6 more weeks of winter? It's seems like the biggest bait and switch that's ever been perpetrated upon a holiday.
Well, I don't know the backstory of it, and maybe it had something to do with farmers. Who knows, But we were talking also before the show about one of our favorite movies, which is Groundhog's Day, and then that spiraled down a wormhole of Bill Murray. I know you're a big fan.
Huge fan. And how awesome would it be if he found that out and was a guest at some point on the show? As a matter of fact, what we should do is just always send him the link
Right.
every week, and then maybe one of these days he'll actually pop on.
Well, like I said, there's that documentary out there called the Bill Murray movie. It's about sightings of him just showing up randomly. So some of those, sometime, who knows? We could see Bill Murray in the green room. But also we could also see Britney Spears, couldn't we?
Well, I don't want to pull the curtain back and tell everybody how the sausage is made, but I'm not nearly as enamored with Britney Spears as I am Bill Murray. So I got to tell you, if we would get him, that would be a real buy. The Britney Spears, she's a star. I'd be excited. But if we got Bill on here, I'd be as excited as a little schoolgirl.
Yeah, I did the whole Britney Spears thing just for Eric because I know he's watching.
Well, yeah, of course. You gotta, and of course, I should have changed my name on here to Wes Vivian Wyatt.
Right, exactly. All right, well, I just got a couple shots on goal. I'll go real quick. First of all, first shot on goal. Happy birthday, Eric Bam. Pleasure getting to know you over the last year and consider you a really good friend. Right off of that is his son, Nicholas, the second shot on goal. His son, Nicholas Burns, which is truly going to be a great young man, is going to be on Sean Lidfock's show this afternoon at 3:00, and I understand he was just on Brian Wagner's show as well. Seems like a real sharp young man.
He's making the rounds.
No doubt. And last shot on goal is it might be a little bit controversial one, but it's my shot on goal is we all know teachers are underpaid. The fact that the teachers have to deal with our children on a daily basis, they're not making nearly as much money. But then the other side of the coin is the teachers' unions. I was just reading today on The Hustle that the teachers' union in Chicago is refusing to go back to work, and now they want to use COVID as a bargaining chip in their negotiations. And again, today, 60,000 K-8 students aren't going to school. And it's gotten to the point where the mayor is talking about locking the teachers out of the virtual platform so they can't even teach there. But what it really made me think of it is today on the way in, I was listening to the news. And here in New Hampshire, we got about a little over a foot and a half of snow. And they've decided to call a snow day. right now. So in the city of Manchester, they're doing a part virtual and maybe 1 or 2 days a week at this point, but they called a real snow day. So they're not going to switch back to virtual for the day. They're actually going to call a snow day. I just, it's just so weird. I thought the days of the snow day was over, personally. So
yeah, we had a snow day yesterday here in Ohio, and then of course today we were delayed. And I'm with you. If we have the facility to do that whole virtual thing, you would think that a snow day would be gone the way of the dodo. But
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So those are my 3 shots on goals. Has Neal arrived? I just wanted to
Neal has arrived, and since
Super.
Neal is far more interesting than yours truly, what I'm going to do is pop him on, and I'm going to go behind the scenes and let you and Neal talk, if that's okay.
Sounds great.
Fantastic.
Thanks
Great
a lot,
talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. Well, look at that. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Just balancing as you're talking about all the new things of COVID. My wife had a massage she forgot about, and so my mother-in-law is coming over to take over, and so we got the 5-year-olds running around here, just getting them breakfast settled, all that stuff. So just life as an entrepreneur, nothing special. I don't.
Absolutely. So let me do a quick little intro. I'm going to read it right off here about you. Well, first of all, people should know that Neal and I have known each other for, when 2012, 2013, I think we met in a pool, at a bar in the Caribbean somewhere.
In the Dominican Republic in Punta Cana at a resort. So,
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was one of those things. You spend a week in up to here in water, and you begin talking to people. And next thing you know, here we are. 7, 8 years later, and following his journey has just been amazing. So real quick, Neal is as a serial entrepreneur who's had several national TV spots. Unfair Advantage, Huffington Post, Walk the Talk, which is a great talk if anyone gets a chance to see it on YouTube. His clients are intuitive and heart-centric visionaries. They are net worth leaders. Neal teaches people to master their internal world so that their external world is simple. So welcome to the penalty box, Neal.
Thank you. So glad to be here. I love this format, Tim. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, we've been doing the penalty box. I think you're the 17th or 18th episode. We do have another host who, as I told you, is Eric, who is on jury duty today. And I'm just thrilled to have you here. So I don't know, where should we get started? I mean, 4 years. I saw this post the other day that you wrote that 4 years ago you did the unthinkable, that you left a dream job with dream pay to follow a dream. That so many amazing things have happened to you since then, and that you wouldn't change a thing. Can you talk a little bit about your journey? I've got so many questions for you about the brain warrior and your entrepreneurial spirit, but what inside of you made you want to do what you're doing?
It's since I was 5, I knew I was meant to give out a message. I was meant for a big stage. I was meant to do something great. And I was just talking to I was just, somebody says, I know Britney Spears.
That's Eric. Eric's sitting in a jury room and he has nothing better to do. So it's his birthday today. So we're going to let him.
Happy birthday. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Britney Spears, but not met her yet. Yeah, I emphasize yet. So the take home message is that I've been on this journey, and we all tend to look at our journeys as random and as non-logical, but I see how everything has unfolded. And for me, I'm equally as artistic as I am scientific and logical. And so it's an interesting blend. And it took me sort of getting sick into a chronic illness where I was in bed 6 to 8 hours a day for 6 years to take my life skills and my life coaching skills and ramp them up into what is essentially rewiring the levels of mind in the body so that I could get to the next layer, and that's where the brain warrior came from. Jumping mean, just in brevity, jumping out of the corporate world, there's nothing wrong with the corporate world. But for me, I really wanted to live my dreams, and we become who our parents are vibrationally. Not what we don't do as they say, we do as they do. And I wanted to show my kids that are dreamers and wonders that dreaming really is possible. For most adults, we say dream, dream, dream. But when it comes to the theology of dreams, most adults come up agnostic. And I was like, I am not going to be part of that. So the journey was about healing my body, healing my mental state, the boy within, and exercising this power that we all have. I celebrate human possibility in everything that I do. And I wanted to show that and celebrate that with my kids. I thought that was really important for the boy within and the boy and girl without.
Right. So you have twins, girl boy twins that are just gorgeous, and
Thank you.
I've never had the opportunity to meet them, even though I've come close a couple of times while I've been in Indiana visiting relatives. So talk about, what the fears that you had were when you left corporate America to go off and do something that you really didn't know what you were going to do, I would imagine. Now, knowing that you're a serial entrepreneur and knowing a little bit about your background, going from building, social media apps to, I believe you're involved in esports in some way as well. So can you talk a little bit first about how you overcame those fears and how you teach people to overcome those fears? And then we'll talk about your serial entrepreneur ventures. I've been in business 30 years this month, and this is the only entrepreneurial thing I've ever done, but it's lasted. For you to be able to jump around is pretty amazing. So go ahead and talk about how you overcame those fears to become what you've become.
So yeah, there is no easy road. And what I often say to my coaching clients and my mastermind clients is that if there's something that's pushing your buttons, run towards it, not away from it, right? We often think about our journey and we need to somehow regress back into different stages of our lives to work on the things that we think we need to work on. But everything that you need to work on is coming up in the present moment every day for you. And so that's really what happened, is that I wanted to leave, and I had this big passion. I have this big vision. I'm a big dreamer, not a small dreamer, a really big dreamer. I mean, I have some acting pursuits. I have some musical pursuits. I'm going to do it all. And I am convinced that I am. There's no other possibility. There's no back door. But even in the framework of that, Tim, once I got out of corporate America, I mean, I had the 6-figure salary and the 6-figure bonus and all the perks and stuff. And my wife still earns a respectable living, don't get me wrong, but that's a big adjustment to come out of that, right? And living that kind of lifestyle. And so I went into scarcity. And in fact, because entrepreneurism takes, I was running a business within an 80,000 person business when I had a corporate job. So it was like running a small business, but still not the same. When you are the product, you're going to come up against every single one of your nerds, your fears, your issues, and all those things. You know this, you've been in business for 30 years. It's you against you 99% of the time. And so it was a huge dive into scarcity and what do we do? And how do I not let myself ride at the end of that dragon's tail all the time and stay in creation rather than reaction, right? And do something every day. I mean, entrepreneurism is really action over inspiration. If you wait for some holy moment for someone to anoint you, you're gonna be waiting a long time. You just got to do it in the face of, and keep in mind, in this time I was also working on my own physical, mental health, right? Because I've been chronically in this place, and so it was multiple things going on at multiple times.
Now, if any, so we're a sports and marketing show, right? So we have a lot of people that are in marketing watching this that really get frozen by fear. If you could, I know you teach people, and we're plugging your websites as well. If you could talk about how to overcome your fear, even when it comes to cold calling, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, and how you have been able to just put it aside, almost like water off a duck. As I watch everything you do, I'm always on your lives and those kind of things. And I just get inspired by your tenacity when it comes to that power of positive thinking.
Sure. And yeah, funny enough, I did one of those talks I did that you talk about, Walk the Talk, was on positive thinking, where I said positive thinking is not enough. So for anybody out there who's really coming up against some serious fear, positive thinking is not enough. What we need to do is that we need to be able to separate our meat suit from whatever your belief system is, soul, higher self, God, whatever else, and be able to take away the trained physiological, biological reactions. So one of the things that I tell people to do, it's very simple. And so I like to start with action right away, is to ask yourself, what else is true? So when you're in a fear situation, your brain, the cortisol in your brain narrows your focus, and everything and your problem becomes way expanded. There's nothing else. You become amnesic about all your successes and things. So having a success list is important because you can reread that, pull it out of it. But asking yourself, what else is true? What else is true? I already have clients. What else is true? I have food on the table. What else is true? I have a loving wife. What else is true? I've made it this far. What else is true? Everything that I've always tried, I've decided either I was good at or I moved away from, right? And you keep bringing yourself into what else is true, because the brain is a storyteller, and whatever stage you set, it's going to add the character and the meaning. So understanding that in a fear-based situation, what else is true, having a success list, and understanding that you can add different meaning if you want, is 3 powerful ways that we can get out of fear.
I love what else is true, as Wes has put down. You know, having a lot of people use vision boards. What are your thoughts on vision boards when it comes to helping to plan your successes?
Great. I love vision boards. I deeply believe in them. Here's a primary problem, and let's go a little graphic here for a moment. Adults are emotionally constipated, period. You see a child, and we reject children as saying that's childish. We reject how they express emotion because I'm just trying so hard not to be emotional, especially men of a certain age. I get it. This is how we were raised. But if you have a vision board and you look at it, so what? If you have a vision board and you feel the emotion, like in advance of whatever it is that you're looking for, that you want in your life, if you can be that person emotionally in this moment, you're going to accelerate that process tenfold. But that's where most people feel short. And even if you tell them to do it, that's one of the things I do with my clients, is that I really teach them how to get back into the emotion. Because at the end of the day, everything we do and everything we buy and everything we market for, I still love working with marketing. They're like, every piece was made to cause an emotional reaction in a client, but then they would claim that they made all their decisions logically. And I'm like, no, you didn't. It's all with emotion. It's all there. That's who we are.
So are there, with the emotions I get, are there people that want to be, that's Eric. I'm almost wishing that they call Eric for jury duty any second. There are people that are emotionally stunted. I mean, you had said in one of your pieces that your personality manifests your personal reality. So if you are who you are, how do you change that?
Yes. So I often say, if you're fish in water, how the F do you know that you're in water, right? And so, this is the dichotomy of kind of where we're at. And so understanding that you don't know what you know, but one of the ways in which to start to separate that is to become the compassionately curious observer. So 2 to 3 times a day, set your watch, set your phone, say, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? And is it health and life affirming? And what you're going to start to notice is that you have some background noise. It's like, why am I so tense right now? What's going on in my body? It's all about getting awareness about where it is in the body and where you are in your emotional state. And as you start to notice that more and more, you're going to start to break a divide between your reactions. We have this capacity as humans to be able to think about our thinking. And that's what that's what we practice to do, to start separating the personality from the personal reality. It's called metacognition. You don't need to know that word, but the point is that we can think about our thinking. We've all done it. You've been in the middle of the party and you start talking, right? And the words that are coming out of your mouth, you're like, God, why am I saying this stupid thing right now? And you're judging yourself. You can use the same thing every day in life to kind of be like, But instead of using your inner critic, you're using your inner coach, and you're saying, why am I feeling this way? And being compassionately curious. And that starts to break the personality from the personal reality.
Unbelievable. So let's dive a little deep into what makes Neal Neal. Right, you are a certain. It says right here, entrepreneurial is not for the faint of heart. So you are clearly not the faint of heart. You know, I know for a fact that you had launched a social media app called Icebreaker several years ago. Can you talk about that, esports, what you're doing from a marketing standpoint to market yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit about Brain Warrior, the coach.
Sure, absolutely. And when you say market myself, are we talking about the app in general?
I'm talking about, entrepreneurial, the app, the Brain Warrior. How are you marketing yourself as a business? And talk about the entrepreneur within everyone. You said it's not for the faint of heart. And we all know that anyone who's had any success at not getting a paycheck every week, on a schedule, and then going for the success because it's something that you wanted to do. Talk a little bit about your journey from one entrepreneurial success or failure to the next.
Sure. So Icebreaker has been a labor of love, and it started out because we wanted to connect people. Social media isn't social. It disconnects us. I used to travel in airports 80% of the time, and everybody's on their device, not connecting. So the goal was to provide immediate human connection in a very limited radius, so you couldn't be on your phone surfing. And then we found that in esports, this problem of social disconnection is magnified. And in fact, the number one thing that players do when they come to live esporting events is to meet other people, not to play games. They are there to form new connections and new people. That's what they want. And so marketing that to college campuses and on Facebook and abroad, it was a lot of just boots on the ground. We were at 3 major universities for a year, gathering research and having students help us, and getting the kind of help from students that would have cost us thousands of dollars. The dean of entrepreneurship at IU School of Medicine, the dean of the school, had us in a couple of his classes, and we were able to get them to give us ideas and pitch how to make it better. So that while it still definitely has its place, not everything, unlike Instagram, reaps Lamborghinis and loads of houses and toys immediately. It takes time. And so that's where then I found a partner who needed somebody who had some business and some medical side to help with the IV therapeutic spa. And this is vitamins and minerals in an IV bag, right? And my wife and I, for me, it's always been attractive. I have most of my friends, aren't close and around my age. They tend to be younger, not because I dislike people of my age, but this, Tim, you get to a certain point and you start talking about your feet in the grave, right? And all the things that are getting you there, as opposed to like still dreaming. And so I have around a lot of people who do e-commerce. And so my wife and I took a year-long Google mastermind, and we had a cappuccino and espresso machine business that was doing pretty well, sold to people who were opening up coffee shops. And that was another huge jump. And every one of those, I'll tell you, for anybody who's out there, it's a series of just working with the breath, because we had to make an investment for Icebreaker. We had to make an investment to get into the e-com stuff, right? And every one of those is like, make decisions with your gut, get into your intuition, which is something else I talk about quite frequently. And again, choose messy action over anything else, because we're also afraid of making mistakes, but you never have to tell a 1-year-old toddler to keep getting up and start walking again. He or she will fall 1,000 times, and they don't need. And there's not a self-help book on walking for you, the toddler. It just happens.
Yeah. How did you get so lucky to find the woman that you are with? She seems, as I've known her and gotten to know her virtually mostly over the years, she seems like the most supportive person to allow you. I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe it is. Allow you to spread your wings and have the same vision that you do.
Gosh, Tim, this is why we're friends. You say things that so perfectly. So yeah, it is not even a space of allow. It's holding the space. It's holding the space for me to dream, and being supportive of that, right? And you corrected yourself there so intuitively. And what I would say is that, believe it or not, people who know me now would not believe that good relationships weren't something that I was really good at. My modeling was not good as a child. I did not see the best examples growing up, and I knew it. And I would be reading articles at 12 and 13 or even younger about relationships. And my first serious relationship, where I got married before, was everything that I didn't want it to be. It was toxic. It was soap opera. It was and while it was occurring, I just knew it was going to end badly. I just knew it. And so I put myself through a lot of self-work, through a lot of workshops, through a lot of self-development. And I just made a pact with myself that I'm not going to do this anymore. And she has been the best 13 years part of my life that I could even imagine. So even through the hard times, we are still best of friends.
That's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about Brain Warrior. Tell people what you do and what your philosophy on that is, and what how people can find you.
Sure, absolutely. So as the Brain Warrior, I help high achieving people take their most challenging relationships and make them to their most rewarding relationships. I'm fundamentally a relationship coach, but I really consider my title life healer, because that's what people need. Whatever is occurring in your business and whatever's occurring in your personal life are mirror images of one another. There is no life work balance. There's just life balance. That's it for most people. Even if you're in a job, whatever else, we separate them artificially, but I've seen so much of that. And so basically what I do for most people is there's a continuum, and I get them out of anxiety, overwhelm, stress, move them into a place where they can get into flow and finally release. And at the end of the day, they get a lot of things, but the unexpected for most people is they get a lot of their time back, because this is a supercomputer. And if 98% of how we're going to react in any situations in their subconscious, then we've got to somehow go through a process that's experiential based. Tim, you come to who you are through experience. That's why most helps don't work, because you need an experience to change. You need an experience to open up your thinking. And that's what I do. I hold a container for that experience for my clients. I've helped Olympic hopefuls decrease their running time by tenfold. I've helped an NFL player. I've helped people who are doing 6 and 7 figures. I've helped people who got a divorce and have nothing and transform their life and leave it all and sell it and move to Arizona and start a new business. I'm a disruptor, and not for disruption's sake, but a disruptor because my style is a little Southern Baptist, and I love hard. But I also am not going to let. I'm also not a person who's just going to say something to say something. I'm going to say it because it needs to be said, or there's impact to be had. So how you can find me is simply at the bottom. It's thebrainwarrior.com. That's my Instagram handle is the Brain Warrior, or you can email me at Neal, Neal, at thebrainwarrior.com. And so
that's awesome. Yeah, I know that you do one-on-one coaching, you do group sessions. I just think the world of you. I think it's amazing. Okay, a couple quick personal questions, and then we'll let you go. I really do appreciate you spending the time. How many watches do you have?
How many watches do I have? Probably about.
I remember when I met you, you had a honking watch, but every single day you seem to have a different watch. Are watches your weakness?
That for sure. I'm a gadgety person, but I would say probably I have like 20 watches. But you know what? I got roped into this. I say I got, meaning I finally allowed myself to rope into this Apple Watch, and now that's primarily what I wear because I find it pretty damn useful. So, yeah, that's funny.
You are a Colts fan. Are you going to be rooting for or against Tom Brady this weekend?
I'm going to be rooting. Do I say it softly?
You can.
No, I'm going to be rooting against. And let me just say this: Tom Brady is one of the most fascinating people. And if there were somebody that I would want to sit down and have outside of my football lunch with or dinner with, rather, it would be him, because I have his book on how he trains and so forth, what he's been able to do. I mean, he's been to 10 Super Bowls. I mean, going to one in a lifetime is statistically an anomaly, right? And he's been to 10. He's got what, 6 rings? I can't. Yeah, 6 rings. So for me, the person who I'm transforming my body to the next level, I want to pull out those genes, and part of this rewiring stuff is we can do uncommon things even with our bodies, with our minds. We can turn on things and reverse damage, aging, and all that. So he's been able to have a mindset and a training regimen that is uncommon to keep his body that way. And that, for that, I am very respectful of him, but I still want him to lose.
Well, we talk about it all the time. Eric and I, we're Patriots fans. Eric's in Oklahoma, but was born in Boston, so he took those teams with him. And I was saying that I feel like a little bit of a jilted lover thing going on, but I think when push comes to shove, I will be rooting for him because we'll cheer for him when he comes back with his gold jacket from the Hall of Fame. It was an incredible 20-year run. And you're right. He was on an interview yesterday where he's always had that number 45, that he was going to retire at 45. And he actually came out and said, I will think about going further. And he's only 43. So, you've changed and resculpted your own body over the years. Before we get out of here, tell people, how you did that.
Sure. So I can tell it in a brief way, and please reach out to me if you want to know more. But the brief story is that I had about almost 100 pounds more on me. I had 120 symptoms. I mean, you name a symptom. Was into the emergency room dozens of times. Fast heart rate, digestive issues, memory issues, brain fog, tingling in the arms and hands. I mean, you name it, I had it. And most of us, we have these things that creep up with age and with stress and with lifestyle. And the issue is that traditional medicine just wasn't helping me, and I'm not vilifying it. And then I was in so much dis-ease that I can't live this way. So I started researching. I found these little pockets of people all through the world in WhatsApp groups and other groups that were taking their mind and rewiring their body. So basically, we're a bundle of neuropeptides and hormones sending from here, we're thinking, and here we're feeling. And whatever we're thinking, the body's feeling, and whatever the body's feeling, it makes the brain think more. So we get in these loops, right? And our traumas fuel those loops. But what if, when you're most triggered, you start doing a visualization and NLP process where you start, on top of whatever's triggering you in that moment, you start laying down new branches and trees in your brain. And then when you do that, the old branches and trees, just like you prune trees and shrubs, will start to prune away. And that's absolutely what I did. It is not taking a pill. It is a bumpy ride. It is not logical. Healing is very nonlinear, but that's what I did to change my life.
And so your workout regimen these days is what?
It's not as strenuous as one would think. You know, for me, it's about getting up a lot. It's about walking. We have a lot of stairs in my home, and I do that a lot with my kids and up and down. And then I'll do either jump rope, or elliptical. My wife has a Peloton. Once in a while, I'll get on that.
Cool.
But I these days I'm not going too crazy. I may start going crazy here in the month of February, because I want to ramp up my fitness goals. But
cool.
Yeah.
What is Eric asking here? I feel like
we stifle our intuition. Does that factor into stifling our dreams? 1,000%. 1,000%. We wear all these layers of subjective emotion and trauma over ourselves, and then we wonder why we can't get to our intuition. It's just that we've got all of these layers. And so yes, stifling our intuition has a factor in stifling our dreams. If I could give everybody here one thing that could do just every day to open up their dreams and their intuition, is go be appreciative or in awe of something that is ordinary in your life, whether it's your kid's face or your Apple Watch, or the fact that you've never had to go without groceries, whatever else, or the sight in your eyes, whatever else. But just truly have fascination for something that you've had that's around you, that's ordinary, and turn it into extraordinary. I promise you, if you do that for 30 days, your whole life, its volume will turn up.
That's wild. That's good. You know, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about all of the things that I have on a daily basis that are just, you know, awesome. I think a lot of times, you know, and social media plays into it. A lot of times we compare ourselves to other people. You know, we're comparing ourselves to other people, what other people have. And we all know that, you know, what we see on social media is not real, but for some reason we feel that it is real. How do we stop caring about what other people have and what other people think of us? How do we stop doing that?
So comparison and judgment is one of the most toxic things that we have. And it's primarily fostered by our ego, right? Who wants us to stay, even if it's not empowering, wants us to stay as we are, even if that as we are is feeling guilty and small, and somehow has a belief system that you're a failure. But here's the thing. I'm just going to go ahead and lay the hammer down on this one. The thought is that we are the inner critic. And if we are the inner critic, then we're in the courtroom. And we're not only the defendant, the plaintiff, and the judge, but we're the witness as well. And when you have to start self-justifying, not only under oath about why you did what you did and suffer the consequences, and then the judge has to look at you as yourself and say, look, this is who you are, and you're always messing up, and you're always no brain, acting like you have no brains, and this, that, and the other. And you come to a point where Tim, you just have to fucking get up and walk out of the courtroom, because who constructed the courtroom? You. And if you do that visualization where you're in the courtroom, you're in this thing, and you just get up and you're like, I am out of here, and leave, watch everyone's faces and watch the ego, what it does when you try to walk out of the courtroom. Just walk out of it and leave it behind, and do that on a repeat basis. You can start to leave the inner critic and change it for the inner coach.
It's wild. So much. I mean, I'm going to rewatch this. There's so much little pearls. I'm going to ask this last question, and then we'll let you say goodbye. This is a question for Eric, who can't be here. Pineapple on pizza or not? Pineapple
on pizza all day long.
All day long. Okay. And Eric, I think Eric's the one that has a crush on Britney Spears. He keeps bringing it up. Neal, my friend, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I need to get out there and spend some time with you. I'll be coming out sometime to see my cousin, probably within the next year, and we will make a point, instead of me just calling you when I'm down the road saying, "What are you doing?"
That's right. That's right.
We'll make a point to grab something to eat and see each other.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, and appreciate the friendship over the years. Let's make it happen in 2021. You know.
All right.
So meet up.
Sounds good. Best to your wife and your children, and we will see you soon.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you.
All right.